Radical.
Welcome to Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for November 1st to November 7th, 2021. Short comments, quick replies. Dubez. PETA does not care about bullpen. They lie about this stuff to get news and free press. Same thing they did to Mario for wearing a raccoon suit. They lie to get press. They don't really care about this. I didn't know what you were talking about, but I looked up something from 2011. 10 years ago, PETA actually tried to take Mario from Super Mario 3D Land or World, whatever Switch game that was, and he switched to a full Tanuki suit. And PETA did not like that. I thought it was a parody. I thought it was a joke. But they had him, wearing the suit, and it was, pretty graphic. Look it up, like the ad, right? And Nintendo had a response like, we are not supportive of, the things they're against. It's just a whimsical game, But, this bullpen is probably the same thing. They're just trying to, further their cause and everything. Red Strass 97, Frank Vogel is getting fired. I don't really see him surviving the season. Yeah, they keep losing. Now, it wasn't that bad of a game versus the Bucks last night, and Giannis was on fire. 47 points! That man is a freaking machine. But I think he has to do something to either get... He has to get more production out of Anthony Davis. He had 18 points last night. Now the trade for Anthony Davis is not really looking that great, is it? They traded like half their team away just to get Anthony Davis. But LeBron got his chip, his fourth chip. So, yeah, it's what LeBron does. He'll come in there and he'll trade half the team away, just to be happy. But long term, the Lakers are not going to be good long term. The Winged Avenger. New rule. Any console that is capable of running The Witcher 3 doesn't need stronger hardware. Now, I will say it's impressive that a Switch can run Witcher 3. That's pretty impressive for a handheld console. I mean, looking at it, like, the Switch probably the best handheld console of all time, would you say? Only thing is, it runs it, but not as well as the Xbox One as PlayStation 4, So, even the Xbox One... Like a lot of people say, like, hey, that wasn't great hardware. Well, the Switch is not even up to the level of Xbox One, so that's the one thing Nintendo is missing. Okay, better hardware. Serbot42. Nintendo has stated since the Wii that they don't want to be involved with the console wars, so they do their own thing. They don't really care about graphics anymore. It's mostly gameplay and innovation. Okay, like that last comment. Some people will say, like, they're not competing directly with PlayStation and Xbox. They do their own thing. They have their own games, Fair enough. But again, I reiterate, the consoles need stronger hardware. Because it's fine when they make their Zeldas and the Marios and the Metroids and they do their own thing. But the problem comes when people are like, hey, we want some other games. We want GTA 5, for instance. We want GTA 6 when it comes out. On a Nintendo console? Well, GTA, and it's having problems across the board. But by far the worst port of GTA Trilogy is on the Switch. And I think when people are playing that game on the Switch, no one's like, well, no one should be like, yeah, this is strong enough. This is perfectly fine. Rune Mamba. NBA would be boring if teams were confined to only recruiting within their state cities. NFL 2. Europe is filled with many different cultures, so it can't really be compared. Yeah, I get it. I mean, looking at it, trading, we couldn't talk about trading if people were just confined to be traded to where they live. It was just interesting, though. And it'll never happen. Just kind of think, how would these places be if it were like just homegrown talent? Homegrown talent to be on the pro teams. But, looking at it from a lot of different perspectives, I get how it would be more boring. Sean A., the number 0 fits him well. Talking about Westbrook. Yeah. When you look at his three-pointing ability, there was one night where he was 0-6. 0-6. It's not only that Russell Westbrook I'm talking about, it's not only that he's terrible on the three ball and hitting the three, it's just that he keeps going over and over and over again with it. If you don't make the first 3 threes, then why do you need to attempt 6? They just let him. If Russell Westbrook's going to make a 3, they're like, hey, let's pretend we're guarding it. Oh, a brick. Blinded Braille. Switch 4K. Switch 4K is happening sooner or later. It's Nintendo. People should realize they do and say unexpected things. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when people say, like, eventually they're going to come out with a new console. Yeah, eventually they are. Will it be 4K? Will it be 4K? Will it be real 4K? I just doubt it. Looking at, like, what it would probably cost to get one of those, and Nintendo, again, back to the hardware, they have floated by so far with minimalist hardware, and they can do that because they have Mario and Zelda. Unless something changes, I don't see them really focused on the heavy tech side of things. Arioka, the Nokia N-Gage from 2003 also has more impressive games than the Amico. Okay, well, that's seen historically as one of the worst consoles of all time. But it's a fun game to play. Look at consoles like the N-Gage, look at maybe the Game.com, the Tiger one, look at the Virtual Boy. I mean, really, when you place the Amico right now, currently looking at what it is, what is worse than the Amico? I'm sure there's a lot worse, maybe, but just looking at it, I mean, I don't know, the N-Gage? Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear if the N-Gage could possibly be a little better than Amico, with the games that were released on it. Red Strass 97. And then you will have my wife, who is allergic to all perfume and colognes. Laugh out loud. That really kind of changed my perspective a little bit, thinking about the colognes. Let's say, Red, I start dating a female that is allergic to colognes. Then there's a lot of my investment just kind of thrown out the window. Yeah, it's best just to go ahead and play that field like I'm doing. And, I'll find out real quick. Like, is it instant, though? Like, is it just a little bit of cologne that they're allergic to, or certain kinds, or whatnot? I'm just curious about that, Restratus. Sean A., your audio sounds really good in this video. Never heard of Orbic, by the way. Yeah, I was going to do a follow-up of the current phone I'm recording on. This is just, at least when it comes to the recording on Show Off Saturdays, I said God-tier mic, but, I mean, maybe I was just overstating it a little bit. It was, but it does sound really nice. I can actually put this mic against a lot of other mics on other YouTube channels. I can. And I've actually went to professional channels, and their mic has not sounded as good as this. So it's this phone. Really happy with it. Very, very happy with the mic in this phone. Persona user Mike. I'm a no James, no watch, laugh out loud. Episode 200 of AVGN is coming soon. Well, this was 10 days ago. Hasn't released yet. Someone keep me posted whenever 200 drops. And I can maybe do a little critical satire of episode 200. Maybe do that one in detail. And I'll be fair. As I always am on that. Mr. Lonely Wolf. I just play video games to enjoy myself. My masculinity was never criticized. And I agree. There's nothing wrong with video games and spanking movie. The irony is, most of the politicians that say things like this are most likely doing this themselves. Yeah, that's the thing with politics, and why I don't really get involved in politics is because on both sides, all these people are just saying rehearsed lines. They're not real people. Could you imagine politics if people were not just like, we need hope, we need change, we need a brighter future, we need a brighter tomorrow. If somebody just comes up on the podium and says like, hey, you know what, I'll try to lower taxes. I mean, no promises, but we'll see what we can do. I would respect that so much, and I would vote for that guy. Just honesty. Is that too much to ask? Well, when it comes to politicians, yes, it is. Saber Wolf. Who are these guys on Cinemassacre, and why do they want that channel to be like every other channel? Those are the Screenwave guys. The big one is Justin Silverman. The other one is Kieran. And the thing about those two people is the vast majority of people are wondering and scratching their heads going, okay, I just came back to this Cinemassacre channel. Who are these people? Who are these people? It's not a bad Seinfeld, huh? Not bad, Floppa Apocalypse. Shilling for the worst port of Resident Evil 4 and not even including James himself to please the last handful of AVGNs blinded by nostalgia. What were they thinking? Wait, how does James say it? I don't know. How does James say it? What were they thinking? I'll work on that one. So I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they're thinking, we will take over the channel and it'll be a slow takeover and we'll just ease people into it. and they'll say, we'll do this shill upload for Resident Evil 4 VR. We won't include James. The one reason a lot of people would actually stop by that, there's a theme here, basically. There's a theme, is if you try to replace James with the Screenwave people, and, you have two things going on here. People, want the last bit of old AVGN, and that's James. At least prop James up in the upload. Have him on the screen at some time. It's not that hard to realize. I can equate it to, let's say, well, this is not an equation, but let's say there's, you're looking on a stage. And let's say it's a situation to where, you know where I'm going with this. Maybe you don't. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Okay, how about this? You go to a stage and, you take dollar bills and $5 bills out and throw on the stage. And then there's a really nice looking one. But then there's the one that maybe has a lot of stretch marks and cigarette burns. And then there's two of them. And the idea is, hey, because this really nice looking one is here, people will stay and they'll keep enjoying the show. But then you take the really nice looking one off the stage, and then everyone's like, well, what's going on? Whoa, what'd you do? Where'd you put her? Where's she at? Bring her back on the stage.